Welcome to the Equinety Podcast, where horse owners just like you share their incredible Equinety stories and how Equinety is changing their horses' lives. Whether you're searching for something to give your performance horse better focus, faster recovery, and more stamina, or in the extreme case where all hope seems lost, give your horse what it needs to help heal at a cellular level, you'll find it here. So jump in on today's episode to hear how Equinety is helping horses worldwide. Now, welcome your host, John Dowdy.
Hello and welcome to this week's Equinety Podcast. We are swinging up into the great state of North Carolina. We've got Jenny Taylor on this week. Jenny, welcome to the Equinety Podcast.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to being on here and talking about all the awesome things with Equinety that I've learned.
Well, that's awesome. And I've been trying to twist your arm for quite some time to to be on, so I do appreciate it. Now, let's give a little bit of your background. You are on the board of directors for the Southern Stockhorse Association. Tell us how long you've been involved with the association and what that association is all about and what kind of things go on at the Stockhorse Association.
So I got introduced to Southern Stockhorse Association in 2009. Southern Stockhorse is a ranch horse versatility association that promotes versatility. That's what our slogan is. And so what we do is this is your working horses. These are your horses that you're going to ranch. You're going to use on the ranch. You're going to go work cows on. You're going to go out on the trail, check fence, that sort of thing. So all the classes are designed for that stock horse or ranch horse. And so the events are, you've got cutting, ranch cutting, working cow horse, boxing, ranch roping, trail, ranchmanship, conformation, reining, and a rail class. And all of those classes come together to really show off the versatile horse because everybody's showing in every one of these classes. And that's the stock horse.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. And based on your description, I would assume there are no four-wheelers invited.
No.
Only the raw horsepower. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no four-wheelers, no skid steers, no nothing. So you got to be all horseback.
All horse. All right. 4 legs, not 4 wheels. Got it.
Right. Right.
That's awesome. So let's share with everyone how you were introduced to the Equinety product. What was going on with your broodmare?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, had a broodmare come that was going to be falling out, and so took it to the breeding farm, Langdon Farms in Benson, North Carolina. She does all my breeding for me and falling out, and so I took her there, and the mare was just really unsound, and just acted very uncomfortable. And I told her, look, if we need to, the vet had already approved that if we wanted to put her on Equiox, or anything like that, we could go ahead and have her on that for the term of her pregnancy, until she foaled out, and then we would look at some different options. And Christy called me, and she's like, I've been introduced to this product, Equinety, and she said, we've seen some great results with some lameness. She's like, will you try it? And I said, yeah, actually I will. I'd love to. I've heard just a little bit about it, but don't really know. Hadn't tried it yet, but yeah, sure, let's try it. And 5 days later, Christy doesn't even call me. She just sends me a video of my mare walking. And she was walking the most sound and comfortable that I had seen her walk in some time. So it definitely was something that happened pretty immediate. Shocked me, truthfully, on how well she did. And of course, I picked up the phone and called Christy, and I was like, what the heck? And, and after that, it just had me very interested as far as what is Equinety and what the heck does it do? Because that is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. And and we actually did a podcast with Christy all about how the product has changed her whole business model, being a breeding facility. So if you're tuning in and interested in that or know somebody in the breeding world, that can be found on our website at podcast.teamequinety.com. So with having this kind of transformation in only 5 days is pretty darn incredible. And I'm going to go through a couple other stories, and then I'll get into, for those of you tuning in for the first time, exactly what this product is, the Equinety Horse XL, and how it works in the body and why it helps in so many ways. Because we're going to go through, 4 or 5, maybe 6 different horses here, different ages, different things going on. And just this one product has helped all of these scenarios. So with seeing that video in only 5 days and just the transformation that it had, where was your mind next with which horse you're thinking, well, maybe I'll try it on this one? And so tell us about that.
Yeah, so I have a 22-year-old cutter. His Tommy is 22, old cutter. Just great horse. And I was like, let's just try it on him to see what happens. So I put it on him just to build a little bit better top line on an older horse, kind of reading some of the things that Equinety can do. And I was like, it's not going to hurt him anymore. Let's see what we can do to get a top line back on him. And so that was the middle of February, beginning of March. And about 30 days later, I went to go help at a ranch clinic, and I took him. And normally he's my just jog real slow, put anybody on him, no big deal kind of horse. And a little 5-year-old girl wanted to ride. I was like, yeah, she can ride Rocky. Put him on it. And I don't want to say he took off with her, but he had so much energy trotting around the arena. I was like, who is this and what is this horse? Yeah. And so I let her ride just a little bit longer. She just had a great time. And then she stepped off him and I got on him, and he just felt like a different horse. I'd asked for the left lead, and he just immediately picked up the left lead where he had been stiffer on that side before, had a ton of energy. So I went and put him back into regular work, and I started sorting on him. And 2 years ago, I did really well sorting on him and pulled a bunch of checks.
Nice. Now, just to clarify, the product, he had a lot more energy, but it wasn't, just for clarification purposes, because a lot of people are concerned, is this going to make my horse hot? Was he hot, or did he just feel better, and that's where the energy was coming from?
He just felt better. Example, before when I'd ask him to lope, it'd be like, do I have to? Do I really have to? Yeah. You really sure you want me to lope? And this time it was like, yeah, let's go lope. And, I didn't have any problems, asking him to stop or, asking for a slow lope. He just felt better.
Yeah. And again, that's something we hear quite often. And, with being 100% pure amino acids, there's nothing in there that makes them hot or lethargic or anything. Probably the best description is it just helps balance the horse from the inside out at the cellular level is probably the best description we get often. Now, let's go to a non-performance horse. Let's talk about your 30-year-old Cushings pony that was blind.
Yeah, so I picked up long time ago, I had this old pony, and then had several friends' kids that needed a pony. So Ginger Pepto went through several families of kids. And then this summer, 2 years ago, they called and they said, hey, the kids have outgrown her. Do you want her back? And I was like, yes, absolutely. And Ginger had some moon blindness. When I picked her up, realized that she had some moon blindness. Her hair coat was super long. This was the end of July. She looked horrible. She really just didn't look well. And I was like, well, put her on Equinety. Yeah. See what happens. And really within 30 days, she blew out that long hairy coat, got slick, put on good weight, rounded out, just did amazing. And we know that she was Cushing's. So we treated her, we fed her accordingly as a Cushing's horse should be fed, and did a lot of other things for her. And then the next spring, she did grow, over the winter, she did grow a very long coat, but come April, she blew her hair coat completely out, and was super slick.
Nice.
So yeah, she just did amazing, on the Cushings, or amazing on the Equinety. I think it really balanced out our Cushings.
Yeah. Yeah. And we hear that a lot. We get a lot of questions, is this safe for Cushing's horses? And absolutely, we've been on the market 7 years, and pretty much any scenario. It's one of the reasons why we started this podcast, was to have our customers share their personal stories. And a lot of times they've tried everything that they know to try. A lot of times they're at their wit's end and they just don't know what else to do, or it's a simple mystery lameness type thing. Or it's in the performance horse world and there's nothing really, quote, wrong, but they're just looking for the recovery and the stamina and the focus, and they haul better. And so for those of you tuning in, and maybe you're looking for something to just help your horse's overall well-being, what the Equinety Horse XL is, it's 100% pure amino acids. There's no fillers, there's no sugars, no starches, and there's no loading dose. And a serving size is 5.2 grams, which is about like a teaspoon, regardless of the size of the horse, whether it be a tiny mini or a draft horse, they all get the same dose. And so what these amino acids are specifically doing is giving the body what it needs to release its own hormones from the pituitary gland. And then the body can decide where to send its own hormones to its own problem areas. And this is why it helps in so many ways, and why it doesn't classify as a specific supplement, whether it be a hoof supplement, a joint supplement, a top line building supplement, or recovery supplement, or shiny coat supplement. It doesn't fit into any one of those categories. The thing that makes it so unique is we're giving the body what it needs so it can help repair itself at the cellular level. And this is one of the reasons I was excited to have you on, to share all these different experiences, from a broodmare to a 30-year-old pony with Cushings to your 22-year-old, which you were able to get back in the arena and start pulling checks with again. And, you've done such an awesome job at helping us spread the word to your friends. And I know you had some other stories that, these aren't your horses. They were just some friends of yours that were dealing with some things. Let's spend a little bit of time and just give the folks some of those stories as well.
Yeah, so with Southern Stockhorse, I see a lot of people have a lot of really good friends that come and show with us, and I'm always giving samples out and telling people about it. And have a friend down in South Carolina that she took a sample and tried it. Just really didn't, just tried it because I said, hey, try this. And she said, and let me back up. So gave her the sample, and the horse is one that it just shows a little bit of stiffness in him. He's not real old. He's only 12, 13 years old, but just was kind of stiff. And she would, give him butte at the shows, and he had special pads and special shoes and things like that. But he's just a super awesome horse. And so when she put him on it, really didn't think much of it because he had a good hair coat. He had good body coat, body weight, all that stuff. About 3 weeks later, the farrier comes and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I can pick up his back end so much easier than I've ever been. He's like, whatever you were doing, you keep doing it. And she called me and she was like, I didn't think that stuff was working, because I didn't really see a difference. And she's like, but holy cow, we can already tell a huge difference in him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I will say, we have turned some of these super skeptics, especially those in the farrier world that, they've been around, dangerous situations, and they might have something specifically wrong with their hoof that the farrier is trying to work on. But it's such a challenge because they're in so much pain, whether it be arthritis or whatever the case is, and, just having trouble getting that foot up. And so many situations, just as you're describing, they come out and it's like, okay, what did you do to this horse? Because they're just standing there allowing me to pick up their hoof, and like they're dumbfounded because, what is going on? But, just one of the other many benefits, it just helps them feel comfortable from the inside out.
Yeah. And I keep getting messages, and I keep getting pictures and, hey, this is what Equinety's done for me. There's a girl up the road that was asking me about Equinety, and she put her horses on it, and she actually sent me before and after. And this is a 2-year-old, and the difference in a matter of 3 weeks in just his condition, his top line, his coat color, even his coat color, was unreal. The things that you see, the changes, and they're pretty immediate.
Yeah, it's one of the other benefits, and I'll get a little sciencey on you here, but for those tuning in, when your horse eats protein, the protein molecule is actually too big to be absorbed, so the body has to break that down into peptides and then down into amino acids where it can now be absorbed. And so this takes time. And so what we're doing is we're starting off with a specific blend of amino acids. So they're rapidly absorbed within hours, and it goes right to work within 24 hours as far as releasing these hormones or getting the body to release the hormones. So we've had a lot of people in feedback with, horses that have stress, anxiety, or a bit spooky that have had complete demeanor changes in as little as 2 or 3 days. And, in the performance world, or some of these scenarios like what you're describing, in as little as 2 weeks, they've noticed transformations, just whether it be, a shinier coat, they feel better under saddle, they're more comfortable, more flexible, they haul better. I mean, so I would say the vast majority, and I'm talking upper 90 percentile of people, see changes, I would say, in 30 days or less, which is pretty darn powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty much what I'm seeing too, is that people are seeing really quick results. One that I had last summer was a 27-year-old horse, I think 27, 28, just a good broke horse, but he was kind of skin and bones. They sent me some pictures, and he looked super poor, couldn't figure out what was going on, lame all the time, dealing with abscesses and craziness. And, the lady just wanted to ride her horse, and wanted to make him comfortable. So put him on Equinety, and kid you not, within 2 weeks, sent me pictures. And where his hip bones were a triangle before because the tailbone and the hip bones were sticking out, in 2 weeks, he'd rounded out. Like a huge notice, a huge difference. And then in another 3 months, he looked like a completely different horse. And so a year later, meet it up with her, give her some Equinety. And I was like, hey, how's he doing? And she's like, we're trail riding. We're going all the time. She's like, he's the best horse in the barn. He's round. He's fat. He looks amazing. He doesn't look his age, and he's doing awesome.
Yeah, that's so awesome to hear. One of the many benefits of this product is being able to help the horse balance from the inside out, which then allows them, with the proper nutrition, to fill out and do the things. And what we found being on the market for 7 years, it doesn't seem to matter what state the person is living in, or what the conditions are, or what the quality of feed and nutrition they're getting. When they add this tiny little scoop to their daily feed, they just blossom with whatever that horse is lacking. And, sometimes these super show horses that look phenomenal, and then they add the little scoop, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know the coat could even get any more shiny, or they're just recovering faster. Now, one of the other stories that you were telling me was a friend of yours that had an older rope horse that was possibly going to have to look at navicular surgery. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, so the horse went lame. They, not sure exactly when it happened, but they didn't even think they were going to be able to show him a couple of years ago. And, they were having to do some heavy butte to get through a class and things or to get through a show weekend. And I was like, here, try some Equinety. And I was like, it's not going to be your cure-all. It's not going to fix anything, but here's my experience. And, horses are just a lot more comfortable. And the next show, I was like, hey, did y'all have the Equinety do? Or, and he's like, we won't take him off of it. He said, we thought, found out we're probably going to, he's got Navicular. But they were able, basically able to hold off surgery for at least the last 2 years.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I could just repeat how incredible each story is, but it's true. I mean, are there any other stories that come to mind that you think might benefit anyone tuning in?
For those that have the performance horse, and they've already got their horse on a great diet program, and the horses look great and they're performing well. What I've seen is I've got another friend that shows NCHA cuttings, and those horses are rode in the loping pen for several hours. They're worked. They come out. They're tired. They typically get stopped up. Their legs get wrapped, and you can tell with the cutting horses, it just takes a toll on them. And after a show, one of my friends put her horses on Equinety, and they've been on about a month, and she called me and she said the muscle recovery was unreal. She said the next day the horses felt phenomenal. They weren't down like they normally are, didn't show any signs of stiffness or soreness from being shown 3 days in a row.
Wow. Yep.
So, and these are horses that are pretty pampered, regular chiropractic visits, getting Magna waves, getting, all of this other stuff. But she noticed the biggest difference with the Equinety.
Yeah, and this really works well when you're doing that kind of maintenance with the chiropractic and the Magna wave and things. The practitioners that we talk with on a regular basis with Magna wave, because you're working at the cellular level there, they love this product to work in combination. And then when you're dealing with the chiropractic, a lot of the feedback, the adjustments seem to hold longer. That's just with a lot of feedback that we've received. Well, if there's anybody that's tuning in and they're like, wow, this sounds really good, but almost too good to be true, would you have any advice for them to maybe get them to go ahead and try the product?
Just do it.
There you go, folks. And end call.
So one of the things that hit me was I like soda. I like fountain sodas. If I was to go to the store and get a fountain soda, it cost me $1. And it's not uncommon for me each day to go get a fountain soda because I really like it. And it hit me to go, this is what it would cost to try this product. It's going to cost me $1 a day.
Yep.
No more than my soda. And when I saw the change in the horses, I don't feed them as much. It doesn't take as much bulk feed to keep their top lines looking great. I'm not throwing a ton of supplements and things. Equinety is the only thing that I give my horses. It works.
Yeah.
It works. I've seen such great results. I've seen people that horses' hooves have abscessed out so bad, and they're like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, try Equinety. And then they're calling me 3 weeks later going, oh my goodness, I've never had this much trimmed off of my horse's feet. My horse's manes and tails look phenomenal. They're very long,
yeah,
very slick and shiny. My horses just look really good. They feel good. My advice would be is just try it.
Yeah,
just try it.
At $1 a day, it's really, really tough to beat that, with all the benefits that you get, because, we have a lot of people too that, they're having whatever issue with their horse and they're looking for something to solve that particular issue, whatever it might be. And so, often they'll come across the Equinety product, and what they find is not only does it help that particular problem, but then there are all these other benefits. And, a lot of times people ask us, we're using these other supplements, should I stop using those and just give this? And so our recommendation is don't change anything you're doing and just add the Equinety to it. And then that way, it's the only element that you've changed. And, like I said before, the vast majority of people notice within a couple of weeks to 30 days, the changes. And at that point, you can then decide whether to reduce or stop using other things. Your horses better than I do for sure. So this is just what we recommend. And it's also 100% safe to give with any medications in any scenario because it's 100% pure amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. So now you've got a big show coming up here at the 1st of June, I believe it is. Tell us about that.
So Southern Stockhorse has our Summer Spectacular coming up June 4th through the 6th in Bladenboro, North Carolina at 5K Arena. This is one of the largest ranch horse shows on the East Coast, and we will have a full slate of classes. We'll start with ranch sorting on Friday night, and we'll just roll through Sunday. We've got stock horse cutting, ranch cutting, boxing, working cow horse, ranch roping, conformation trail, ranchmanship, and reining are the classes that we'll have. So it'll be a fun and awesome weekend. Unfortunately, stalls are sold out at the facility, but for anybody in North Carolina that wants to drive in for the day, we do allow drive-ins.
Absolutely. And I think you had a record sellout in how many days?
4 days we sold out stalls.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if you're looking just for something, for some entertainment over the weekend, then drive in and be a part of it. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so we can still accommodate more riders and exhibitors and horses. We don't have stalls available for people to stay on site.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, is there a website or any way for them to be able to take a look at all that or reach out to you?
Absolutely. SouthernStockhorse.com is our website, and then we are on Facebook like everybody else. And so if you look up Southern Stockhorse, you can find us on there. We've got an event page for the Summer Spectacular too.
That is awesome. Well, Jenny Taylor out of North Carolina, thank you so much for taking the time to share your experiences with Equinety and tell us all about the Southern Stockhorse Association. We really appreciate it.
You are very welcome.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
That's all for this episode of the Equinety Podcast. For more information on purchasing Equinety, be sure to visit our website at teamequinety.com, where you'll also find product information as well as more testimonials on how others have seen amazing results by implementing Equinety into their horses' supplement regime. We'll have more stories on how Equinety is helping horses worldwide right here on a future episode of the Equinety Podcast.